Hi, it's Mark Carrier. Today I'd like to speak to you about 3 steps in measuring for success, okay? You've probably heard me say this statement before, but I think it bears saying again. You can't expect what you don't inspect. And you can't inspect what you don't measure and track. You know, measuring the results of your campaigns is fundamental in successful direct marketing. To optimize your campaign performance, you must understand which media is driving response, which creative is most responsive, and whether new offers and call to actions increase response better than the previous ones. Without tracking and measuring the results of your campaigns, you'll never know which areas of the campaign are underperforming or generate those valuable performance learnings to help you improve. Tracking allows you to optimize campaigns by applying your learnings to increase response rates, reduce your cost per response, to find that sweet spot for a better ROI. By following 3 simple steps, you'll set up the framework to properly monitor your campaigns, to act quickly, to adjust your campaign for a better ROI through the learnings acquired. Step 1, identify and prioritize key metrics and test elements. Firstly, you need to identify the key performance metrics that will be driving response in sales. Things like creative executions, offers, and media selection. You might also need to test a couple of offers or call to actions. Work with your IT team to ensure that all the elements you need to measure and track can be captured through whatever customer relationship management or CRM system you're using. Now, if you don't have a CRM in place, and you really should step up and get one if you don't, simply set up a tick sheet for your staff to mark each call they receive and the outcome of these calls, so you can later manually update your campaign spreadsheet with all these key elements. In either case, be sure you also have a percentage column next to them to allow you to easily see the different results achieved more easily. And another thing you might consider if you don't have a CRM in place is to have a separate phone number for each campaign code. At least this way you can see how many inbound calls came through that phone number to cross-reference with those records by your staff. Not an ideal way of tracking, but what else can you do without a CRM? See any benefits in a CRM now? Okay. Now, when directing your call to action to a website, you might consider setting up a different URL or landing page for each campaign. This would help you understand and more easily track the key metrics. Step 2, make sure you can track all the elements correctly in a timely manner. Setting campaign codes for any direct marketing campaign is important, especially when you're conducting tests. One of the main challenges, though, particularly if you're driving your customers to respond by calling you, is that quite often your team receiving the calls are more focused on selling rather than making sure they are capturing the right campaign code and call dispositions. So, be sure that all call dispositions are properly set up within the CRM interface and that your staff are properly trained to understand which call disposition they need to employ for each likely scenario. Most dispositions are fairly simple, sale, no sale, but other metrics such as not interested or not qualified may not be so simple. If somebody took the time to respond to an offer, and when they called, the outcome of their call was disposed by your staff as not interested, don't you want to know why they weren't interested? Or if they were disposed by your staff as not qualified, wouldn't you want to know why they weren't qualified? Maybe these learnings are suggesting that you may have a problem with the list you selected or calls aren't being disposed properly. It's hard to fault your staff when they're working hard to make sales, but with the proper systems in place, together with proper training and discipline, it shouldn't be too hard for them to do the job properly. Often direct marketers will set up a series of phone numbers or URLs that they use exclusively for testing purposes and one number or a URL that they can use for their control. Often direct marketers set up a series of phone numbers or URLs that they can exclusively use for testing purposes. One number or a URL that they can use for their control. This allows them to keep their test and control campaigns separate and easily track to get the information as quickly as possible. Step 3, keep improving your campaigns based on new performance learnings. Remember, direct marketing isn't a sprint to the finish line, it's a marathon. You need to work together with your team to discuss all the options for measuring, tracking, and testing performance, as well as the appropriate timing and evaluation of your campaigns. You need to agree on your options for rolling out your control based on the performance learnings obtained through the testing phase. And once you've run your test cells and established your control, you need to continuously test against your control to find a better way. Thanks for your time today. I hope you find this helpful. Any of the templates that I've displayed, budget templates and things like that, they're all available on my blog, so I invite you to go there and you can download them from my blog or find a link to them, and you can reach that at www.whatsaleadworth.com, or simply send me an email if you're on LinkedIn. You'll find me there, Mark Carriere, MarcCarriere. Good luck and have fun. Bye-bye.